morning, it's the Christian Conservative Gamer here, and welcome to a testing my knowledge quiz. This time we are here to guess landmarks. Yes, famous landmarks to their cities. Oh, this is going to be an interesting challenge today because some of them are going to be quite simple, but when it actually comes to architectures or any kind of landmarks or anything like that, sometimes I may be familiar with many landmarks, but doesn't necessarily mean that I know where they actually reside in terms of the cities or locations. So let's get started, shall we? Starting with question number 1. What city is the Colosseum in? Well, that one's quite simple. That's Rome. Yeah. That's definitely Rome, because we all are familiar with the Colosseum back in the Roman era. So, what it says about it, though, the landmark's probably one of the most recognisable in the world. Yeah. What city is the Taj Mahal? This is another famous place. From my understanding of some people, not all people, but there are many people, especially those who don't travel the world, who only know of this building is located in India, but not everyone knows that it's actually the actual city itself. From my understanding, this place, this mausoleum was built in the city of Agra. I know that. What city are the Maui in? Oh. Now this one's is interesting because I'm not familiar. I'm not sure. I recognize if I actually know if the Maui statues are actually located in a city or on an island. Thank you, Java. From my understanding, the only thing I can recognise these is from Easter Island, but that's an island. It's not a city, but apparently it's right. So they don't take, let's say, cities into account. So this is going to be a bit challenging because some places or some landmarks are not located in cities. So, but I'm familiar with these the Maui statues, also referred to as the Easter Island heads. What city is the eye in? To some people, that's the thing which I don't. I mean, I recognise the city, of course, it's London. But what I'm saying is, that's not the only eye in the world. You've got one, this Ferris wheel, along with various buildings in the background, should clue you into which European city. Yeah. As I was going to say, it was not referred to as the Millennium Wheel. It's London, because I know that I think Singapore has a giant wheel as well. Is it Singapore? Yeah, it's Singapore. So it's a bit challenging there. I'm still a bit tired. That's why I'm probably sounding all groggy right now. But a recording has to be made. What city is the Christ the Redeemer statue in? Also known in its, I believe it's Portuguese, as Cristo Redentor. That's in Rio de Janeiro, or with River of January, or January River, however you want to refer to it as. It's very familiar. Now we're getting to something that I personally am not certain of. What city is the Burj Khalifa in? It's definitely not Riyadh, because it's not in Saudi Arabia. It's not Abu Dhabi, I don't think. It's the tallest building in the world. Literally, it's massive. The only thing I can think of is Dubai, because I believe this is a building in the United Arab Emirates, and I believe the capital of the UAE is Dubai, and I believe that's where it is. It's not Lebanon. It's not in Lebanon, which is Beirut. Not Saudi Arabia. Abu Dhabi, I think, is in United Arab Emirates or Saudi Arabia. I believe one of it. I think it's Dubai. Yeah, it's Dubai. Yes, it's Dubai. Oh. What city are the pyramids in? Now this is this one's going to be quite a trick question, because I know it's in Egypt. They are usually referred to as the pyramids of Giza, but they do sit outside the capital city, which is Cairo, from my understanding. So I don't. I'm not entirely sure. I think this one's going to be hard for me to guess, because technically speaking, Giza's the right answer, but at the same time, is Giza a city now, or is it an ancient city? So does it still exist? I assume it still exists, but I'm gonna say Cairo. Oh no, it was. Yeah, I knew it was Giza, but like I said, I didn't believe it sat outside Cairo. So yeah, I thought it was a trick. My mind was not thinking straight. As I said, I knew I should have been Giza, because I just said it myself. It's referred to as the pyramids of Giza, but from my understanding of where it sits, unless I'm completely wrong about its location and completely not near Cairo, but I thought it was near Cairo. I think it is near Cairo. Cairo's on the other side of the river from the pyramids. That's what I'm saying. So it sits outside Cairo, but no, never mind. I got that one wrong. That was on me. That's on me. What city is this opera house in? This one's in Sydney, Australia. I know that one very well. I've never been to Australia personally. Oh, well, you don't need to tell me twice about where this Space Needle resides. I recognise that flag anywhere, the rainbow flag, and I recognise these buildings. I do spend a lot of time on things like Google Maps and things like that, or Google Earth, being on the street views and going around various different cities around the world. But this Space Needle is very familiar because I recognise it in. It's a very recognisable building. Now you could get it confused with the CN Tower in Toronto, but it's not that building. This building's in Seattle, indeed, because it's a restaurant. Literally, it's a restaurant. I think Starbucks has a little kiosk or something up there. Their own little section up there. What city is the Parthenon in? That is in Athens, because it sits in the old Acropolis of Athens, which was around back in ancient Athenia, or ancient Athens. Because Athens is named after the goddess Athena, as it says here. I'm not even looking at the screen, I'm just saying it's out naturally. Of course, you can say that, oh, you're a liar, because, we can't see you, so, how do we know what you're looking at? Just take it for granted. Just take it to heart. No, I'm just playing. Okay, question 11. There's a lot of questions on there. What city is the Cloud Gate in? I'm not familiar with this. And I mean that sincerely. I'm not familiar with this architecture. I'm really not. So I wouldn't even know where this is. But I know for absolute certainty it's not in San Francisco. I know that much. Though looking at from the buildings inside in the reflection, some of these buildings look more reminiscent to Detroit but Detroit isn't on the list, which can only lead me to assume it's certainly somewhere in. It's definitely in the based upon the architecture and designs of these buildings this, it definitely looks middle America. One of the middle states. It's not the it's not any west coast settlements. It's not an east coast settled location based on its architecture, which means it's either going to be Dallas, but Dallas is south. This looks more north, more middle north in terms of the architectural designs. So I'm going to have to say Chicago. Ha! Wow. I guess that's wow, I didn't think I'd get that one right. But I was only basing it on the architectural designs of the buildings. It certainly, like I said, certainly didn't look like Boston, because Boston has eastern. I mean, that's one way that I can sometimes tell about cities in the United States. I've never even been to the United States, but the one way that I sometimes try and have a kind of thought and idea of where things are located is based on the architecture of the buildings. That's how I tend to know something. Whether it's in the north, in any of the northern states, southern states, eastern states, or western states. They all have a certain look to them. What city is the Hagia Sophia in? That is in Istanbul. It was, from my understanding, built during the Byzantine Empire. Yeah. But, as what does it say here? Beautiful landmark is the Hagia Sophia. It may surprise some to know that it's just a museum, but it was pretty much a massive church or cathedral. It was initially from the Greek Orthodox Christian. Then it basically was a Christian building, Eastern Orthodoxy, and then during the I believe when it came to the Crusades, the city of Constantinople, which the building was built in, was conquered by the Muslim armies of the Middle East, and it became a mosque for Islam. And then over periods of times after the Christian armies reclaimed Constantinople, this was at the time of the Eastern Roman Empire, also known as Byzantium. I can only go off my own history lesson that I learned about the Crusades, and it remained after the Crusade period a Byzantine landmark until the foundation of the Ottoman Empire, when it completely conquered the Eastern Roman Empire, and it remained part of the Ottoman Empire all the way up to the World War One, when the Ottoman Empire fell and became the Republic of Turkey. That's what I know. What city is the Oriental Pearl Tower in? Oh, the Oriental Pearl Tower. Based on all the flashy lights and all the beautiful capitalism, it's. I'm gonna have to say Shanghai. I know that China isn't exactly a capitalist country, but but a lot of its coastal cities, primarily Shanghai, is a major financial and trading city in China. Second to Hong Kong, but I consider Hong Kong as an autonomous state. So that's definitely Shanghai. I recognise that building. What city is the Temple of Heaven in? That's in Beijing, because it's in the Forbidden Palace. And the Forbidden Palace, from my understanding, has been in the city of Peking, which is what Beijing is. Now Beijing, it wasn't always called Beijing, it was known as Peking. This was back during the time of the official Republic of China, until the communists took over China and became the People's Republic of China, and they renamed Peking as Beijing. But yes, this building is located in the Forbidden Palace. From my understanding, I think it's in the Forbidden City in Beijing, and it is in Beijing, of course. What city is Alcatraz in? Well, technically speaking, it's not in any city. It's actually outside of a couple of cities. I believe those couple of cities is not San Jose. San Jose is more in the south, further south actually. So it won't be near there. I know that it's definitely between San Francisco and Oakland. I believe it's Oakland. Yeah, Oakland. But since Oakland isn't in the list, it's safe to say that it's San Francisco. There we go. It's a prison island. So, a place I don't want to visit. Oh dear. Where are you? The Petronas Towers. They're not in Hong Kong. Well, that gave it away. It's right there. Look. Malaysian meanders. But that only means one place then. That's Kuala Lumpur. You don't give away the name. You don't give away. When you have a picture of something, you don't give it away with the name of the country. And it's Malaysia. And also the capital of Malaysia is Kuala Lumpur. Because Hanoi is the capital of Vietnam. Hong Kong is a autonomous city-state which has its own government, but protected by the People's Republic of China. And Singapore is obviously Singapore. None of these are part of Malaysia, so I think they kind of gave it away with that one. What is the Charles Bridge in? I'll recognise that bridge anywhere. That bridge is in Prague, the Czechia, also known as the Czech Republic. But yeah, I recognise that building. Seen it many times in games and movies, especially movies set in and games set in like the Czech Republic. I'm not familiar with the history of the bridge, but it is a important symbol, as it says here. What city is the Marina Bay Sands Hotel in? The name always tries and gives it away by being known as the Marina Bay Sands Hotel. You'll think it's something like Honolulu, which is Hawaii. Unfortunately, as I mentioned about the last but as I mentioned earlier about the London Eye, the Millennium Wheel, that there was also another eye or wheel in Singapore. Well, there's the Ferris wheel, the eye. and this building is so familiar as well that it's in Singapore. I've seen it so many times when I'm watching their news. So that's definitely in Singapore. I know that one for definite. Oh dear. Oh. This is an interesting one. This is a building, the Duomo, which is located in a Italian city. We know that because all four cities here are Italian. Florence, Rome, Milan, and Venice. But I'm not sure what city it resides in though. It's definitely not Rome. I think it was a building that was built during one of the times of the city-state republics on pretty much in Italy. I mean, Venice was a city-state. I believe, well, all these were technically city-states to begin with. I think Florence was one. I was at Genoa mostly. I would say Florence because I know that was a city-state and that was an icon, and they had an icon. Obviously, when it came to some more familiar city-states, they have city-states or city republics. They happen to have some features to them. It's definitely not Venice. I don't think. I'm going to say Florence. Oh, my history doesn't fail me, especially European history. Maybe I said one of them, but like I said, this is a familiar building. I recognise it, but I know, like I said, I definitely know that it's not Rome or Venice. I knew it wasn't one of them. Well, this one kind of gave it away. It says, what city is the 101 tower in? Well, they kind of gave it away in the Malaysian one tower. If I recall, as I say here, like the twin towers were once the tallest in the world before the TP 101 tower in Taiwan. They gave it away. They shouldn't do that. You know. Otherwise, personally, I would not have thought it had to be in Taiwan. Otherwise, I would have thought that'd be somewhere in China. But technically speaking, it is in China. It's in what I consider as the official China, which is Taiwan. But like I said, when it comes to they shouldn't mention anything about other locations in the world. Because look, they even got preceded the Petronas Towers and followed by the Burj Khalifa, which at least there they don't actually tell you the locations of those buildings. But this question should have came before the Petronas Towers. That's all I'm saying. What city is Angkor Wat in? Oh, I didn't know it was in an actual city. It's in Cambodia. And the only city location name that gives it that is definitely Cambodian is this word. The top right one. I can't even repeat it. Phnom Penh, Phnom I think. Like I said, I'm not very good at this. Ho Chi Minh City, the main city, was formerly known as Saigon in Vietnam. But I know Bangkok's the capital of Thailand, and Siem Reap, I'm not even sure where that is, but I've got But if I also have a guess, I would say either Myanmar or Laos. It's going to be one of them. These clearly are Southeast Asian settlement locations. But the only one that I can But personally, I would have thought Angkor was in the city called Angkor, because that's what where it is. But the only thing I can recognise is Phnom Penh, which is the only Cambodian name there. Well, shut my mouth. Shut my mouth. What do I know? Siem Reap is the actual location. Like I said, I would not have known it out of these options personally, because I only know the place known as Angkor, which is the location that it's in. I didn't know that it actually was connected to an actual city. But then again, I guess Siem Reap is quite Cambodian, I guess. Siamese, maybe. It certainly ain't Khmer. I think these names are more from the Khmer-based origins, and Siem Reap is more along the lines of Siamese origins. I guess. What city is the world's tallest lighthouse in? I wouldn't even have a clue, to be honest. I mean, seriously, I would not be able to know this one. Absolutely not. Based on its design, I would say it comes from a Islamic country. Riyadh is right in the middle of Saudi Arabia, so it won't be Riyadh. Jeddah, I think, is a coastal city, but I'm not sure whereabouts that's in. Tel Aviv is a government city. I wouldn't say it's the capital city of Israel, but it's a government city. But Tel Aviv isn't necessarily a harbour-based settlement. Oh dear, this is going to be a challenging one for me, because like I said, I've never seen this building. So this could be anything. I'm going to say Jeddah. Oh! I got that one right. Like I said, I thought it had a kind of Arabic or Islamic kind of architectural design to it. It certainly wasn't a Jewish style. So, thank goodness I got that one right. If I went for Tel Aviv, I would have been completely wrong. But like I said, the only one I know, like Jeddah, I believe I knew was a coastal city. And like I said, Tel Aviv is more of more like a resort-like city with beaches, more than like dockyards and harbours. If it was any Israeli area that featured any dockyards or anything like that, one of the cities I would have went for was Haifa. Oh, what city is this river walking? To be honest, I wouldn't even know where to begin with this one. But basing on the vibrant colours, the closest thing I could recognise here, and based on this location, with these vibrant colours and lightings and stuff like that, the only thing I could really recognise from that would be New Orleans, because I don't know much of Miami having much of rivers. I know it's got a lot of waterfronts and stuff like that, but I wouldn't have thought of them having like little canal-based rivers like these. I guess one way to recognise it would be by the trees, but then again, they can be planted. Because these trees don't look young. They look quite old. So they couldn't have been trees that were cut down or planted very recently or anything like that. These would have to be trees that were here naturally. And they definitely don't look like any trees you'll find in Miami. So I don't think it'll be in Baltimore. Baltimore is very urbanized. Not much of trees around there, but I don't think these kind of trees are around that near Baltimore or originally near in that area of America. San Antonio, don't think so, but I could be wrong. The only place it spells to me is New Orleans, but could be very wrong there. It might be San Antonio. It's going to be one of these two, I think. I'm going to say San Antonio. Oh, San Antonio. My goodness. I mean, I was looking at I don't know what drew me to San Antonio in the end, but I was like looking and I was thinking it's possible because I was actually thinking more of New Orleans, but then at the same time I was thinking, well, me and my girlfriend were looking at properties around or near San Antonio in Texas. I believe it was San Antonio, in Texas, and it's like we're looking at some properties, and some of these, so I would have figured some of these kind of just looks would be around there or something like that. But I know there were, excuse me, I know about rivers in San Antonio, but like I said, it didn't click until that was more of a guess, to be honest. I would not have figured, I would not have known that, but I was right, it was either going to be one of these two. I ruled at these because, like I said, Baltimore was quite an urbanized area, so there wouldn't be much there. And Miami, well, it's too tropical. Too tropical for such a for such trees. It's the trees that I was looking at more in this picture image to get an idea of the location. And I'm not a tree expert, so I wouldn't know a thing, to be honest. What city is this CCTV tower in? Oh goodness, am I meant to know that? But looking at some of these building icons, they got Chinese letters on them. So the only thing I think that's Chinese. Mandarin. It's going to have to be Beijing. Yeah, Beijing. It ain't Jakarta, because that's Indonesia, and I know they got a completely different writing language to China. But like I said, I was looking at its surrounding areas. You definitely find them to see all these Chinese writing. And I'm thinking, well, that rules out Moscow and Johannesburg, because Johannesburg is in South Africa. I'm pretty sure they're English. Moscow is obviously Russia. They have Cyrillic language, or the alphabet, or writing. So it ain't gonna be any of that. And I am reasonably okay with Cyrillic language. I mean, especially the ones that Ukraine use. So there's some parts of the Ukrainian language that I can kind of guess, but I wouldn't say I'm completely familiar with Cyrillic language. It's just, but there's a lot of words in it that I can recognize as long as it's like a city location, a city or a town. Then those kind of names I could kind of guess. I wouldn't be able to hold up a conversation in Russian or Ukrainian or any nation that uses Cyrillic as a basis of the writing. Absolutely not. And Jakarta, which is Indonesia, well, they don't use Chinese language. They use a completely different kind of writing style. So it certainly ain't from mainland Asia. Well, their language at least. What city is the Dome of the Rock in? That is Jerusalem. That's a very recognisable place. Very recognisable. What city is Wat Arun in? Oh no. Is it another Cambodian location? I'm not gonna know this. I'm gonna get this wrong. This is again. It's once again back in Southeast Asia. I don't think it's in Bangkok, but then again, I could be wrong there. But then again, this Buddhist, it says here, the Wat Arun, or the Temple of the Dawn, it stands on the Chao River in the capital city of one Southeast Asian country. The only capital city I'm familiar with of any Southeast Asian country, out of all of them, would be Bangkok. Because, like I said, Hanoi is Vietnam. I think the Phnom Penh one was the capital of Cambodia, I think. I'm not familiar with Laos, but none of these actually seem like the name of that. And in Myanmar, again, I'm not familiar with the name of their capital. So the only one that stands out to me was Bangkok. That's all I could know. What city is St. Basil's Cathedral in? I know this place. It is located in Moscow. Now here's an interesting thing where some people, not all people, but a lot of people have sometimes misrepresented St. Basil's Cathedral as the Kremlin, because every time when you ever had like those like spy movies or anything relating to like the Cold War tensions between Russia and the United States, well at the time it was the Soviet Union. Let's make that clear, because tensions between any country isn't because of the people in those countries. If anything, that's because of the governments at the time. So let's leave it there. But the Kremlin is actually the Kremlin is actually here inside the wall, these walls. Because the Kremlin is actually the name of the actual administration section of the city of Moscow. And it is surrounded by these walls, because this is the administrative area. This is where the president's palace is, and his administrator's offices. That is what the Kremlin is. This is nothing to do with it. This is actually outside the Red Square, where they hold their military parades, which seems appropriate. What city is the Sagrada Familia in? Well, based upon its name, the only thing I can think of would be Barcelona, because Vienna is the capital of Austria, so it's definitely not Austrian, because it doesn't have a Germanic name. It's definitely not Warsaw, because that's the capital of Poland, and I don't think Poland uses such names like that either. Now you could have fooled me with Milan, but I don't think it's in Milan, because familia is Spanish for family, I believe. So the only thing I can think of, well there we go. That gives it away then, doesn't it? I just noticed down here. Yeah, Church of the Holy Family. Yeah. Work began on the cathedral in 1883, and building was very slow due to the Spanish Civil War. Which only leads it to mean one place. It's in Spain. And the only place here that's in Spain is Barcelona. What's the Eastern Brandenburg Gate in? Oh, that was in Berlin. I know that because of all the World War II images and photos and stuff like that. But even though it's apparently been a major symbol at the end of the Cold War because of the Berlin Wall and all that stuff, I generally familiarised the gate more along with World War II, because instead of the current symbol it's got up there, with that cross in it. It had the Nazis swastika in it instead, I believe. But they changed it, of course. Oh dear, oh dear. What city is Table Mountain in? Oh dear. Well, it's definitely in South Africa. That much is certain. But which of the administrative cities is it in? Because all three of these are actually, technically speaking, the capitals of South Africa. Cape Town is one, Pretoria is another one, and Johannesburg another. And they all got different. You've got one that's legislative, judicial, and there was another one as well. I can't, de facto or something along them lines, or something like that. It doesn't look like it's in the coast, so we can rule out Cape Town, based upon the photos. It could be Pretoria, but Pretoria, I think, is not near any mountainous terrain. But I'm going to... He's in Cape Town. Oh, well. I guess I got that one. Wow. The one thing I ruled out was the one that was the answer. That's my own fault then. I'm sorry this is a long video, but you know, it's going to take a long time to upload. What city is the golf ball in? Golf ball? The only thing I can say that it's in Canada. And I'll tell you for one reason. There's a Canadian flag right there. So it's in Vancouver. Oh dear. I mean, Marseille is in France, and Frankfurt's in Germany, and Beijing's in China. I mean, you could have fooled me with China, because I was looking at these posters over here, and it showed like someone who may have been of Asian origins in the picture. But when I noticed that there's a Canadian flag, I was like, no, I know where you are. Yeah, that's in Vancouver. And by the way, no, I'm not going to edit any of this video. I'm going to upload it raw. Just for the... better not. Don't know how much space this takes. Oh, what city is the Sky Tree in? Oh, don't tell me, but I've got a feeling it's somewhere in Japan. But which part of Japan? I don't think it's Tokyo. Though it could be in Tokyo. Because of Mount Fuji in the background. I'm going to say Tokyo. Yeah. I was thinking, I thought Fuji was a lot closer to Tokyo than the picture portrays. But, looks like I was wrong. Then again, Tokyo is a big city. It is a big city. Oh dear. What city is the Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque in? To be honest, I wouldn't even a clue. I really wouldn't know this one, to be honest. The only thing I could think would be Dubai or Abu Dhabi. But I'm going to say Abu Dhabi. And I've got it right. Oh, thank goodness for that. I know that Abu Dhabi's got a lot of interesting buildings there. But I don't know how many, but they got a lot. What city is this famous architectural find in? Well, this is in the mountains of Petra. So I would say to assume it's in Petra. I think we're on the last question now, number 35. Oh, what city is the Sacred Coeur in? Well, based upon the way that the name of it is spelled, which is French, it's going to be in Paris. Yes! Okay, I think it's time to see my result. The current score, 91%. Is that my score or is that average score? Oh, it's my score, 91%. Well, I didn't do too bad then, did I? Congrats, you're well travelled. That's ironic, since I never travelled anywhere in my life. Literally, I've never left the country. I haven't even been to Wales or Scotland. And they're landlocked. Well, and they're locked to England, or connected to it by land. So that says something. I'm just a geographical nerd. That's all I can say about myself. The average score in this is 59%. Really? 59%? 59% is the average score. So, fair enough. I'm not going to judge other people's knowledge on that. I don't care what they did. I'm not going to look at that. We're not going to have pictures like that on my screen. I'm joking. But no, I find that actually quite interesting that 50% of people, or around 59%, just under 60% of 60% is the average. Well, I guess most people would take these. Probably are people who generally travel a lot, but don't really take notice of where these landmarks actually are. Just they know what they look like and the country they're in, which is understandable because even I look at some of these and thinking, why, it's in this country or it's in that country. That's as much as I know about these landmarks. Others, when it comes to certain, literally specific cities, like the pyramids, is like, well, that one's a bit of a challenge. You know what? I'm gonna do something quickly. I'm going to quickly have a look at the location of the pyramids of Giza. Let's just use Wikipedia for now. Pyramids of... let's see. Pyramid of Giza. This is the great one. It's built by Khufu. Does it say where its location is? It's bordering present day El Giza. So it borders the city of Giza. So this is for that say, yeah, like I said, there's I figured that was the case. Giza, as it says here, Giza is the third largest city in Egypt and the capital of the Giza Governorate. It is located on the west bank of the Nile, which is 3 miles southwest of central Cairo. Yeah, that's what I said, central Cairo. It is, along with Cairo, Shibah, and Nova, the 6th form of Greater Cairo. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Look, so basically, that's why I thought that with the Pyramid of Giza one, it was a bit of a trick question in my part. Is because of the Greater Cairo area, which I would refer to the Cairo area as literally Cairo in general. So Giza is one of the areas that falls in that category of Greater Cairo. That is why I assumed. Yeah, that's why I assumed that Cairo was the city it's located in. So I wasn't necessarily wrong, but I was wrong on technicality, on specifics in that one. Just like with actually that's the other one, Angkor Wat. I'm not gonna do the Cape Town one because obviously that one I was clearly wrong on. But Angkor Wat is a building obviously from the Khmer period, and it's doesn't necessarily tell me exactly what city. Yeah, that's what I say. Angkor was the capital city of the Khmer Empire. That's what I was thinking. Okay. So yeah, but look, Siem Reap, officially Siem Reap, is a province of Cambodia. That's what the dog's barking. But as I'm saying here, Siem Reap is basically a province. It's not a city, it's a province. But Siem Reap is a city in Siem Reap. But I don't think it's the location of Angkor Wat. It could be near Angkor Wat. It doesn't seem to show in any of the images, except from there. Angkor Thom, which is thing. But like I said, it's actually. But Angkor is actually a Angkor is actually a city. It's not so much of which is near modern day Siem Reap city. But it's not actually the city. But the place itself is a city. That's why I wouldn't know how to guess that one. But besides that, I guess I'm going to call it here. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you in the next video, which will be on Monday. I've been a Christian Conservative Gamer. Thank you for watching.